We cannot allow evil to prevail.
The Bible tells us that angels act as ministers of God's will, watchers who are ever vigilant. Angels are soldiers in God's heavenly host or army, interpreters to men of God's messages. Demons are fallen angels who joined Satan in his rebellion against God and were defeated and cast out of heaven along with Satan. Demons, or evil spirits, are members of God's heavenly host, but who have chosen to rebel against his will. Good evening, my friends. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another episode of True Crime Jesus. At approximately 12:15 p.m. on February 14th, 2017, the bodies of Abigail Williams, age 13, and Liberty German, age 14, both of Delphi, Indiana, were found in a wooded area near the Delphi Historic Trail, east of Delphi in Carroll County. On May 7th, 2017, more than 100 people participated in an afternoon memorial, which was followed by a community hike on the trails, the last place Abby and Libby hiked before they were abducted and subsequently killed. In an interview before the memorial, Pastor Todd Ladd of Delphi Methodist United Church stated,
"This land for holy purposes. That can be walks, that can be a lot of different things, but the reality is it's time to reclaim this land."
In our Religious Overtones episode, we examined the role of Pastor Ladd of Delphi Methodist United Church, Pastor Klaus, and Youth Pastor Micah. Two pitchers of dirty brown water from Deer Creek were poured onto the ground, symbolically cleansing the trails defiled by the February 13th killing of the Delphi daughters, Abby Williams and Liberty German. My friends, it might as well have been an exorcism. The Monon High Bridge and trails will never be cleansed until the perpetrator or perpetrators are brought to justice. If the town of Delphi, Indiana wants closure, then it must confront its demons. In my last video, Paradise Lost, I discussed how Delphi's innocence, or perceived innocence, was shattered. The individuals responsible for investigating and prosecuting this case have stated numerous times the most important thing is protecting the integrity of the investigation. Carroll County Sheriff Lesenby has stated, "Much of what we protect and keep close to the vest is preserved for the courtroom and trial." Many have questioned if the Delphi case has been compromised. If Delphi's daughters, Abigail Williams and Liberty German, will ever have justice. Will the families ever have closure? Is there a cover-up? Or does the potential for a cover-up exist? My friends, let's explore a few peculiar aspects of this case. Hypothetically, one would require the power to control or influence the individuals who are investigating. As early as November 2017, we witnessed Rob Ives, Carroll County Chief Prosecutor, announce his resignation. Ives cited a variety of private and personal reasons for resigning. Friends, why would Rob Ives, a seasoned veteran of the courtroom, suddenly resign when given the opportunity to prosecute the case of the century, the murders of Delphi's daughters, Abigail Williams and Liberty German? Is something more sinister at play here? Who would replace the experienced and well-respected Ives? A young and inexperienced Nick McClelland was installed as county prosecutor without the public's input. And what better way to introduce young, slick Nick than at law enforcement's third press conference? Remember, friends, Nick McClelland was the attorney for Deer Creek Township and reported to Dan McCain. On January 1st, 2021, Doris McClelland, the board's trustee, also resigned, citing personal reasons as well. Hypothetically, one would also require having someone with intimate knowledge of the case from law enforcement. On January 7th, 2020, Delphi Police Chief Steve Mullen resigned, citing new opportunities. His replacement? Mayor Shane Evans promoted Sergeant Brooke McCain. Mullen's new address of employment, 101 West Main Street in Delphi, the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office. Mullen would now report to Prosecutor Nick McClelland. Brooke McCain was not the most popular choice for police chief. Indeed, he has a reputation of being lazy. Lazy Brooke McCain has done one thing that has pleased a few. In May 2021, Police Chief McCain hired a new deputy with a very familiar name, Clint McClelland. The next move would certainly draw attention. In my last video, I covered former Mayor Shane Evans as a person of interest. In a move that came as a surprise to most, on August 2nd, 2020, the newly re-elected Delphi Mayor, Shane Evans, announced his resignation. Shane Evans' new address of employment would also be at 101 West Main Street. Evans' new title would be Chief Deputy Prosecutor of Carroll County. Evans, a person of interest in the murders of Abby Williams and Liberty German, would now be on the inside of the investigation. Less than a year after the citizens of Delphi had elected Evans to a second four-year term, another political ally of Dan McCain, the uninspiring Anita Whirling, was installed as Delphi's new mayor. My friends, it's important to understand that in most municipalities, the district attorney or chief prosecutor is an elected position. Likewise, the chief of police is normally an elected one. However, in Carroll County and Delphi, the prosecutor and the police chief are not elected by the citizens. Rather, they are voted in by select committees of individuals that are politically connected. While the position of mayor in Delphi is an elected one, in this case, the Delphi City Council voted Whirling in for the remaining years of Evan's second term. Perhaps most appalling is the absence of any real investigative journalism from local media. Is it any wonder the law enforcement has had nothing but praise for the media's coverage on the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German? Have you wondered why you can't hear the questions being asked from the media during the few so-called press conference updates on the investigation?
I'd be happy to take a few questions. However, as much of you know, there is no new information to report. Yeah, Mike.
I know you just denied some of the rumors, but as you know, there's a lot of people, thousands of people spreading speculation, letting their imaginations run wild on social media. You have a global audience here, no doubt. A lot of them are watching you right now. What do you want to say specifically to people who are spreading unconfirmed?
Is it to reduce or control the blowback law enforcement rightfully deserves? Why was there no press conference at the 3- and 4-year anniversaries of the murders of the Delphi daughters, Abigail Williams and Liberty German? Friends, Abby and Libby deserve better. We all deserve better. In a February 2021 interview, Lesenby was asked, "Why did you and Prosecutor McClelland choose to do an interview with Headline News, yet the Indiana State Police said there would not be a press conference this year?" Lesenby didn't answer the question. Prosecutor McClelland has publicly stated all release of information concerning the Delphi girls must go through him.
I've directed all law enforcement to review all requests with me, all public requests, before a response is given.
My friends, is Carroll County doing the right thing by guarding information after 4 years? Or are we witnessing a cover-up? In 2017, Sheriff Lesenby stated he believes an arrest will happen and community members will likely be shocked at the identity of those arrested. The perpetrator will likely be someone who is fairly well known in the Delphi community.
Directly to the killer, who may be in this room.
Why did law enforcement wait 2 years before releasing the so-called expanded audio of Guys to the previously released audio Down the Hill? Until the audio was released, only the girls and Bridge Guy would have known what was said on the bridge. Is there more audio that exists between Guys and Down the Hill? Is law enforcement sending a cryptic message to Bridge Guy by making public the expanded audio? Why would law enforcement release 3 stills of Bridge Guy that give the appearance of him walking, but never getting any closer to the girls? Would we know the identity of Bridge Guy if we had the video of him actually walking, getting closer to Abby and Libby? Many believe that law enforcement knows the identity of Bridge Guy, however, cannot connect him to the actual crime scene. More sinister is a cover-up being perpetrated to protect, in the words of Sheriff Lesenby, someone fairly well known in the community. Doug Carter stated, "I wish I could tell you why we have released what we have, and in time, you will know why." January 28th, 2020. On the roadshow, did Superintendent Carter reveal an important clue when he stated, "Either one of these individuals or group or whatever that might be that was involved in this"? On April 29th, 2021, in a Carroll County Comet article, Sheriff Lesenby repeated his belief that an arrest will be made and that community members will be shocked at the identity of those arrested. According to Lesenby, as sheriff, the utmost importance, in my opinion, is the integrity of the investigation. The only way we will resolve to gain justice for Abby and Liberty, for their respective families, is to remain dedicated to the preservation of said integrity, the integrity of the investigation. My friends, angels are protectors of God's holiness, executors of His divine judgment. Angels are members of God's council who participate in and bear witness to His sovereign decisions and decrees. Demons continue to serve the devil in his attempt to lead individuals, indeed the world, away from God and onto sin. People take great comfort from the idea that angels guard their steps and protect them from harm, or that their angel will ward off the advances of demons, the devil. This perception was forever shattered on February 13th, 2017, with the murders of Delphi's daughters. That's all the time we have for this week, my dear friends. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do me a kindness and do so right now. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank my good friend and the writer of this magnificent episode, Blue Angel. It's been a pleasure working with him on Religious Overtones, Hallowed Ground, and Paradise Lost. I hope to do it again in the future. This episode of True Crime Jesus was brought to you by Ben & Jerry's Chocolate Therapy Ice Cream. What is Chocolate Therapy Ice Cream, you ask? Ben & Jerry's Chocolate Therapy Ice Cream is a magnificent concoction of chocolate ice cream. Then you add some of the best chocolate pudding and chocolate cookies you've ever tasted. And there you have yourself a real treat. So until we meet again, my dear friends, this is True Crime Jesus, signing off.